Welcome to Heber Valley Life podcast, where we share the stories of the people shaping the heart of our valley. I'm your host, Rachel Kahler, and today we sit down with someone that has built a lifetime career around creativity, storytelling, and entertainment. My guest is Steve Anderson, co founder of Heber Valley Entertainment, with his wife, Karyn, who is a visionary who worked in Hollywood and traveled the country producing children's programs and now is breathing new life into two of Heber's most historical theaters. So, Steve, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Rachel. This is fun.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. I heard you had a love for entertainment that goes all the way back to your childhood. Little Birdie told me that you ran a makeshift movie theater out of your basement.
It was the '70s, and we didn't have phones. I didn't have a VCR, And so, yeah, my family, my siblings, and I, we just created entertainment for ourselves. And it's funny how much of those things have just become a career. But I mean, we were making carnival rides for the neighbor kids out of old lawnmower engines and radio flyer carts. I did do a movie theater where I would go to the library and rent the old movies and show them on projectors and charge the neighbors to come. We did puppet shows, magic shows, rope plays. We even did like fake concerts, for our parents. So yeah, I'm always telling my kids, can just go down the basement and make some entertainment for us, like we did. But anyway, yeah.
Now we have technology and iPads and iPhones that can do all that. But I mean, then it was just your imagination.
Yeah, we have 3 TV stations,
I love it. Okay, so let's fast forward though. I mean, that may have been the beginning, but it really set you on a path forward. Music in high school, film degree. You eventually made your way to Hollywood. You worked on some major projects, including Holes, which is one of my favorite, coming of age movies. But also, you did a lot of like Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards, some red carpet premieres with Ice Age. Tell me about the live penguins with Ice Age and that premiere. But you really started creating these high profile productions with a lot of really big celebrity names.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate enough to I started in Chicago, which is where I originally grew up, and then I went out to Hollywood, with the same company, an agency there, yeah, I got to touch a lot of fun projects, a lot of family friendly kind of I worked for Disney and Nickelodeon and those kind of shows, um, and, it was just a lot of fun, and I'm very appreciative for it. It was never really where I wanted to stay. I think I grew up, like I said, near Chicago, but also in a smaller community where I didn't, it was kind of my goal to get in and then get out, kinda learn what I could, and then hopefully do that somewhere else.
But I remember Nickelodeon being so known for the shock value, the slime, the live penguins, all these different things because they wanted to make kids laugh. I mean, was that your experience when you were there? Is creating these larger than life events?
Yeah, a lot of what we did was behind the scenes on shows and things like that, and, I'm actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for creating the largest bowl of pasta, on the streets of San Francisco to promote Nintendo, I think it was, a new gaming thing. But yeah, a lot of crazy events. We built the Great Wall of China in Mulan, Texas to promote Mulan when that came out. One of my favorite events was, and if you want me to tell you, uh, it was the DVD release of the movie Grease that I'd grown up with.
Okay.
So one day they said, "Hey, you're going to the Paramount backlot. You're gonna do this big party, and John Travolta, Olivia Newton-John, the whole cast of Grease is gonna be there." And it w I always my thing in Hollywood was everybody was just, they were just people, um, but Olivia Newton-John, I was like, "Okay, stomach pinch me. This is really cool."
Like a
And
childhood drop. I wanted to be Olivia Newton-John, and I knew all the songs to Grease. So I love that that was part of your kind of favorite moment
yeah,
in Hollywood.
yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I hopefully, learned some skills along the way that are helping me now here.
Yeah.
We're
Well, let's talk about. I was thinking this morning, we met 10 or 12 years ago when you brought this really fun Elf Academy and this great, what was it called?
Great Christmas Adventure
Yeah.
with the Elf Academy, yeah. And I remember meeting you. I think I went to some tourism meeting. You were there, and I needed an introduction. You introduced me to the people at Zermatt, and we started there. We had done it previously at Gardner Village down in Salt Lake, and it was just a kind of a Christmas walkthrough, a haunted house for Christmas without the creepy stuff. And so you got to meet Santa and ride on a train and all. Anyway, if anybody came to that, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we moved it over to Unauthorized Valley Theater. And we did it there for a couple of years. Um, and they let us build this whole, indoor walkthrough in there, and so the Elf Academy was a part of it. Yeah. Anyway, that was me doing my best to try and create I guess, an experience like unto Disneyland that I loved, and grew up. I'm just a big fan of theme parks, and so that was us kind of trying to make our own hometown theme park ride, I guess.
My favorite though was the Santa sleigh. You had created some kind of hydraulic system where the kids actually got on Santa's sleigh and it moved.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like I am flying, and my daughter was young at that time and absolutely loved it. But I had a 10-year-old little boy that went into that snowball room, and I think he was there like 30, 40 minutes, just chucking snowballs, which weren't snowballs, they were cotton cushions that you
That people's have fun with that. Um, Quick story I think you'll get a kick out of this on that flight. So it was a flight simulator. We actually bought the same thing that was kind of under the Star Tours ride, and then we put a sleigh on it, right? But the sleigh was built out of wood and whatnot. The first year we did it, um, we anyway, we had done it at Gardner Village, and we didn't have time to buy a flight simulator. So I thought, well, we can just make one out of wood. And what turned out to happen, we gave 3,200 rides in a month, and I did it all by hand. People didn't know that, but they would think they were on a simulator. What would actually happen is my arms would come out of it as soon as they got on the ride. My arms would come out, my feet would get out, and I would be doing this and making the whole thing match the movie. And I got so buff. I was like, "This is a great workout," but I was completely exhausted.
Yeah.
So then we bought a flight simulator. So that's how that came to be.
So, but here's the thing that I'm really impressed with, though. You seem to have this creative mind and the imagination, but then you say, okay, well, how do I make this happen? And it really is about creating experiences. So you and Karyn moved to the valley, and I remember those first couple of years where you were like, I just want to create magic for kids. And you really have done that over your career, creating magic at a much larger scale. But then you move here and you're like, we want to grow our family here. We want to create experiences for the community. And just recently, you've now had an opportunity to take on two historical theaters, the Avon Theater, built in 1948, the Ideal Theater, which is all the way back to 1914, which has its challenges, but its opportunities. So walk me through this decision that you two made that, hey, we want to take on these very large projects with the Avon and the Ideal. And then you have this amazing vision for it.
Well, that's kind of yeah. We're still figuring it out day by day, but I'll highlight two things. One, we so my family had a cabin here for 40 years, and Karen's family grown up camping here. And like I said, I spent all my summers in a little small town in Minnesota, on a lake. And so for me, it was coming back home. When we first moved it to Utah, or I did 25 years ago, um, we were trying to figure out what is that community that we can get to where everybody knows each other's names, and maybe a walkable downtown, eventually. And then for me, I had always had this vision of wanting to have a little family theater, kind of Pickleville Playhouse-ish, if you will, or West Yellowstone. Um, and and so we kept looking around. We would go on weekends for 10 years when we touched down in Salt Lake, like first when I moved here. Karen was from Cottonwood Heights, and we lived in Harriman, but we would spend our weekends, what they call ward shopping. But we would come up and we would try different communities all up and down the Wasatch. And in the back of my mind, I always thought, no, it's Heber Valley, but we just wanted to be thorough. And so literally for 10 years. So once we got to breaking our kids, then we came up here And we had the opportunity between where one was graduating from high school and other ones were still in elementary. We said, this is the time to go. And we've never regretted it for yeah. I remember when we first got here, someone said, you're gonna feel like you live on vacation, all the time. And we do. Fast forward to the second half of the dream, which is that the theaters became available. And so, we're not made of money, but we got an opportunity where the former owners were very kind to us and saw our vision of what we thought we could do with them. And so, really, what we've been trying to do is preserve the history of those two theaters. The Ideal you mentioned, 1914, and it's actually one of or the oldest working theater in Utah. I mean, and you guys were kind enough to put a beautiful plaque out front, which showed up one day. We went, wow.
Right.
But
Part of our historic tour.
yes,
Historic tour. Yeah.
cool tour, and I didn't know that was coming. And we were like, oh, cool. But yeah, it helps. So the goal has been, and we can talk more about that, I'm sure. But we're just trying to preserve the history of these old buildings right there on Main Street, and and one of the pinch me moments for me was when I remember one of the first shows we did, and afterwards, Mike Johnson from the city council was standing out there, and he said to me, "When was the last time you saw 200-300 people right here on this block, yeah, in front of the Ideal?" And after the show, just mingling and chatting about what they had just seen, and that was I thought, okay, we're doing something here. It almost feels like we're like I could picture that scene 50 years ago happening. I was like, here's that small town. So,
But what I love is you've taken a theater that initially was live performing art.
yep,
Then it became the movies. The movies have their heydays. The 40s and 50s, that's what it was. You'd go down and watch a movie for a nickel, and times have changed. Movie production is a lot more, but you've gone back and said, this stage is big enough to do live production. Big enough, but yet has its own problems. It doesn't have a green room. It doesn't have all the technical stuff. But what I have been most impressed with what you have done with the theater without changing um, the true character of the theater. So you've done the sidewall it's a
yep.
projection, something like
Yeah, so both theaters, both the Avon and the Ideal, now I have basically a 360-degree
yeah.
screen all the way around for live shows. So you can imagine the special effects. When we go into the woods, you can feel like you're all the way in the woods. If we're doing a concert, it's just we use it for lighting and so forth. A star field, all that. It just kind of adds to the experience. But both of them were designed these remodels or whatever were designed with an eye towards the history. So at the Ideal, we call it kind of rustic mountain Art Deco.
Right.
I jokingly said it's like the pioneers showed up and said, "We want to do one of these Art Deco cool theaters with all the curves and all that." But we got canvas and we got wood, and so that's kind of it has anyway a lot of that feel there, almost a little bit kind of country western.
There's a lot of nostalgia with it
Oh,
that you're not going to get at a mega theater. And I think people that are coming and appreciating that are feeling like they've stepped back in time. And yes, you've included a lot of the modern technology that makes people engage in the live performance.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad that's coming through because that
Oh,
when you say that, I want people to feel like we're going back in time, and it is it's unique. I don't think when we're done with these, and then we're still working on it, but I don't think there's going to be another theater in the region that's going to feel. Let me tell you what we're doing at the Avon. So the Avon built in '48, like you said, had its heyday. So we're trying to theme that one with kind of a drive-in movie feel. So you're going to start to see neon, showing back up, um, and so just things that will make people feel like we've put fake grass in the front with some lawn chairs and some gimmicks to give that feeling when it's January and you're like I need to get outside and maybe the rec center is closed or Walmart, you've done that lap or Smith's many times and you're looking for anybody. I think you'll be able to come into the Avon and feel like you're outside and maybe at a drive-in or a summer concert, if you have the Beach Boys playing and the whole place can
Mm.
feel like you're at the beach,
Well,
so
and the Avon Theater, it's interesting because it does have that open area. It has a very large screen.
yeah,
It's very large, and then both have the surround sound.
yeah.
So, of course, we pride ourselves on being one of the first Dolby surround sound theaters, with Dolby starting here in Heber
Yeah,
City.
surround sound started in Heber Valley, and yeah, and it really, I'm a big movie connoisseur and have been to many theaters that, I know who's got the best popcorn and all that. But yeah, I'll put the screen and the sound up, especially at the Avon with anybody. I mean, it's a great experience.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's talk about live performances. Because it was interesting with the pandemic and everyone being able to screen or stream movies from home. So all of a sudden, I think we became really complacent about going to the movies because we could stay at home in our pajamas and do microwave popcorn, which isn't nearly as good as movie popcorn. But you and Karen saw an opportunity to bring live performances and not just plays, not just musicals, but music. Tell me about that. How do you select who's coming? Who are they? What's been your favorite?
Okay. All right. Well, first, let me just say, even with movies, because we're still showing movies at both. This weekend, every weekend we try to create an event of some kind. So we have our Elvis movie weekend, we have our monster movie weekend in October. Um, but even the movies we select, we're hoping there's something that people will want to come together, see their friends, laugh, talk afterwards. And we've been seeing that a little bit. They're coming back. People like that. It's more fun to watch a movie that has humor with a bunch of people also laughing, right? So kind of that live thing. But like you said, our background has been in music and theater as well. And so we've been getting some national acts that have been on music end that have been coming through. And I'll tell you, every single one of them, literally without fail, come in. They love the look of the valley. Then they tell us the vibe. They're like, "Oh, this place has a great vibe." We had a Johnny Cash tribute come through, and he took me and said, "Steve, the idea this place has ghosts." "Oh, it does." "Yeah, man, but they're good ghosts, you know? And it's just been one after another. We had a group from Canada that was doing a U2 tribute recently. They came in, and they didn't speak almost any English. They were French Canadian.
Oh,
So the lead singer could, look just like Mono, sounded like him from U2. And he said, he kept trying to get the words. He's like, "This feels like Radiator Springs, from Cars." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll take that." Um, but anyway, so we've been bringing these acts. We've been having, professional talent. We just did Big River, the musical. We got Yahoo Spanner to come and be the star of that. We have Alex Boyer come and do a Christmas concert, and and yeah, it's. I think you asked me what my favorite. I don't even know. I mean, I started with trying to figure out which ones I liked. Right, that's why I brought in you two, and I just had the ooh here. I found that the people, the audiences are telling me, "Hey, we'll come to the Beatles, we'll come to Linda Ronstadt, Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles was huge." And so, in all honesty, the ones that everyone appreciates the most, those are my favorites. The Eagles, I remember we had 2 sold out shows.
no, I tried to go and I
We
was
didn't take it. You should call me.
Well, here's the thing though. Here's what I realized. Too often we wait because we think, well, if this is my backup plan.
Yeah.
And I think people need to realize that tickets are selling out. And you do need to buy your tickets online and ahead of time. And it's first come, first serve. No, it's assigned seats.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
assigned seats.
Although at the Avon, so when we got the vision for that, I mentioned the grass and all that, we're actually gonna have more of a dance floor kinda area so we're about to launch that, but I think it's gonna be general lawn seating inside up front.
Yeah.
So there will be some general admission, but yeah, for the most part, it's signed seats, and we do sell out sometimes. Frank Sinatra, we had them come in, that was, amazing. Him and he brought his wife, who does Marilyn Monroe.
So that.
It was awesome.
Well, I had an opportunity just last week to go to Big River. And so, again, small stage, small sets, very well done, though. Just 5 actors. And what I loved though was the intimacy that you can get at the Ideal Theater. So I walked in, went by myself, introduced myself to the neighbors around me and got to know them. Had a cute couple from Salt Lake that had come up, had dinner at the back 40 and made a night of it coming up to Heber Valley and watching the movie. But they were so interested in just hearing about Heber. And so we chatted and I said, "How did you find the theater?" And she said, "Oh, a girlfriend told me about the Ideal." And I loved that they were so genuine about we just love that we can get out of the city and do a beautiful drive and come up and have dinner. But what I loved about that night was I was also surrounded by neighbors. I had a couple of couples that are my neighbors that had brought friends and they took a whole row, so you're pulling both the locals, you're getting people from out of town that just wanna get out of the city, like they said, and that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what live entertainment can do that you're not gonna have that same experience when you go to a movie theater. You don't talk to your neighbor, you go, you eat your popcorn, and you leave, but there's something about coming out of that theater, and what I loved that night was your actors came off the stage, got their standing ovations, came off the stage, and then greeted us as we were leaving. And there was such a feeling of warmth and cheerfulness and happy that we need more in our lives.
Yeah.
And I would just, it really was a fun night. We stood there on Main Street and talked for a while, but
Yeah.
I think it's different than when you're going to a large performance and uh, you don't get to intermix with the cast. They do their thing, they're professional, they go and take their makeup off and change out of their costumes, but the people that you're bringing in are thriving and want that feedback. I had a minute to talk with Jashon.
Yahosh,
Shows. And I said, "You should be on Broadway." And he said, "Do you know anyone?" Because I that's the goal. But I loved that he saw this as an opportunity to get in front of another audience. And, we have great entertainment in this valley, but you're bringing a level of professionalism with the talent that you're bringing in and you're paying them. So, these tickets aren't just to, it is to keep the lights on, but you're wanting to bring a higher level of professionalism to Heber Valley, which I love.
Well, I thank you. It's been a labor of love, and we're just trying to bring in things that we like, um, that we uh, that we wanted to add to the landscape here. Heber Valley sells itself, and so with preserving these historic theaters right there on Main Street, I think it's just part of the landscape of this, the identity of this town, and uh, and so we're constantly trying to pick things that will add to an experience if somebody wants to come up and have dinner. Yeah. And they're going, "Oh, that show makes sense. I'd like to see that show at this little intimate theater." And the Avon's a little bigger. We're gonna be doing things there too soon. Um, but yeah, I think I for one, I don't necessarily cheer when, and I don't mean to mention names, but when Hale Theater moved from the little one in Orem that was so intimate, and even the one in West Valley, 2 different groups, but as they've improved their facilities, I kinda miss the old ones. I like to go in and feel like I'm a little closer to the stage, a little, I maybe get to meet the actors afterwards. So to me, that just fits in with the charm of Heber Valley.
Right.
Like I said, I mean, it's just right in the lines of what we're doing, and like you said, everyone's doing great art here right now, and, we just wanna be a player, with everybody else and hopefully get people to stay for the weekend, and take in 3 or 4 shows and a train ride and go to eat at Back 40 or the Hub or all the great restaurants. So yeah, we're just fans. We're just locals that want to be a part of the entertainment scene here.
Yeah, I do have a question about the larger movie industry.
Okay.
So one thing that I remember talking with Jim Lang about was it was so difficult for him to find movies that he felt like were appropriate for our community.
Mm,
And he said, for a long time he didn't want to bring a rated R movie in.
right.
And the industry, Hollywood has changed so much that I think it's really hard for independent movie theaters to show movies that the community will resonate with. You have a movie currently, an independent, that you've been playing. I can't remember the name right now.
Truth and Treason.
Truth and Treason. I was at dinner with some friends last night and they were raving about it. And I said, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's here. Oh, we didn't realize it was here. So let's talk about the movie industry. Now that you're running this movie theater, you've got two, you've got to keep full, you've got to sell seats. How does that impact the decisions that you're making?
Yeah. You're right about R-rated movies. We haven't found very many that would play here well. Another tidbit that might be interesting is when you sign up with Disney. So we have relationships with all the studios. Disney makes you choose whether you're a first-run Disney feature film playing house or a retro. Retro meaning anything basically a year or so old. So what we decided to do was to make the Avon first run Disney. So when Tron comes out or, any of the big ones, we have a big one coming for Christmas, Zootopia, that's going to go to the Avon with the big sound. When we get something like we want to show Pollyanna, or for Halloween, we just showed Hocus Pocus. Those ones we can show at the Ideal. And just like you said, kind of take people back in time a little bit. When it comes to I would say that there still is a handful of PG-13 and PG and G-rated movies that we can choose from. You have to be a little more selective, but that I've been doing that. I've been promoting those kinds of
Right.
shows my whole life. Um, and so yeah, sometimes we're doing throwback Thursdays every Thursday, and we're just trying to get people to come back out and kind of realize that the fun of going to the movies is being around a bunch more people. And for example, when we do the throwbacks, we always have like a little discussion before, or we'll do trivia, throw out prizes, talk about why you're here, why do you love this movie, um, and we've even had some guests, that have come who have made the movies or been in the movies. So that's been kind of fun too. But yeah, we love Angel Studios here down in Provo. They're churning out some great family fare like that one you mentioned, Truth and Treason. But it's the movie business is tough, and it's tough to kind of get everybody to say, actually, maybe I won't sit in my couch tonight. Like I love that too. I will just tell you, last night, Karyn and we hadn't seen Truth and Treason, and we can do this as owners. I shouldn't tell everybody, but we went over at 10 o'clock at night. We dropped our kids at the Avon. They watched Tron, and Karyn and I went and watched Tooth and Treason at the Ideal. We got home at 12:30. And sorry if they were late for school this morning, but no, we actually made it still. And we're it's fun. And Karyn has this theory, and I agree that what a lot of the theaters are doing is trying to make the theater feel more like your living room, right? And that's okay to an extent, but we're just finding that the real magic of going to a show is being around others and getting dressed up, making it part of your date night or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of trying to remind people, and I need the older people out there to remind the youngins that it was fun.
Used to be a big deal.
Yeah, and it is fun to see it on this ginormous screen. So yeah, it's been a tough sell, I'll be honest, but I think I see people coming back more and more and coming for not just there's the spectacle ones that you want to see in the big screen, right? Everyone kind of gets that. We're showing Jaws, yeah, right, Maverick, um, and Wicked and so forth. But then there's also the ones that are like romantic comedy that is just fun for a date night and then something to talk about afterwards. Where you might not say, "Hey, I want to take you on a date. Let's go sit in my parents' basement and watch this." And then where do we go from there? So anyway, it's just an excuse to dress up and go out and for Christmas we're thinking like we'll have pajama nights though, right? Too. And on that grass we talked about lay out blankets and tell the families come and watch, classic Christmas.
Again, going back to making it an experience.
Yes, exactly.
Which you have spent an entire lifetime creating these experiences. I want to ask you about concessions.
Fact.
Food is such a big part of movie going. And like you mentioned, the megaplexes are doing everything you want for nothing. Movie popcorn is still number one. You brought back the big candies. Sweet treats, is that going to open anytime? What can we expect?
This is a good question. Yes, we get asked that question about every week. When are we bringing back the sweet shop? the homemade ice cream that was known for. Um, I believe you will see it before January 1, 2026. Uh, we've been working on a very slight remodel in there, adding some more 50s kind of fun flavor. No pun intended flavor. But you will see that open with chocolates and sweets, um, and all part of giving people, more reasons to come out, and we'll let you take in ice cream with you into the movie theater, and we're gonna have trays for people to eat. We already have trays up in the front seats at the Avon.
Okay.
So yeah, the food part we kind of started with the entertainment, and now we're catching up with adding more things to the menu.
Great.
And I think you'll see actual food items in there as well soon. So that's kind of still in the process of trying to figure out what people want while they're munching and watching a show. But we're excited about that. And that place is just the atmosphere in the sweet shop is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it is. It's going back in time and kind of has that nostalgia of the old ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Which is very fun. Steve, I had the opportunity to see you on stage, but I know you're also
Sorry.
you're up in the technical booth, you're behind the counter. But I want to give a shout out to Karyn as well.
Yeah.
She truly is remarkable. And about a year and a half ago, I was visiting a ward, and all of a sudden, the Bates family was singing together, and I thought, well, wait a minute, that's Karen Anderson. So she comes from a very musical entertainment family.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they did some traveling and touring and performing together.
Yeah, yeah, they've done all, theater and music. Her dad was in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, um, years ago. They're all still performers. Her brother Dave is integral in the theater with the tech, and they are. We're bringing them in. The whole family's coming to do part of our Christmas spectacular coming in December, and and like you said, I mean, Karen deserves all the credit. She's technically my boss, but she's got the smarts behind a lot of this, and she was both an educator and then went back and got her law degree.
Right.
Sorry, um, and so she brings a lot to this, and we work hand in hand. And she's also going to be running the sweet shop, in addition to taking care of
Yeah.
before he gets it home and
Still. Yeah.
3 out of the nest. So, yeah, we're just working, we have a saying in our family that, Confucius says you cannot burn the candle at more than 2 ends.
And yet you do, including watching the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's just fun.
I love it. So I have some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So a couple things. What is your favorite musical?
Ooh, I'd say a tie. Can I do a tie?
Yeah.
Sing in the Rain, Hairspray. Those might be the top 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of the energy. I mean, those are very high energy musicals.
Yeah, I like it schmaltzy. I like to see people laughing and dancing in the aisles, and yeah, I like it simple and just you know fun. Yeah,
So I could see you singing in the rain. Yeah, I feel. Hmm.
with real rain.
Hmm. Okay, favorite family activity.
Mm. Uh, First thing that comes to mind, we love theme parks, and really my kids all know if we go, we're trying to be the last people out of the park. And there's this little magic moment that happens when you're one of the very, very last people on Main Street, Disneyland, and everybody else is gone, and the security's looking at you funny, and we're still taking pictures and running around like like it's 12 o'clock noon, and but it's 12 o'clock midnight. So
Well, no wonder you're so forgiving of the crowd that lingers after your shows because you're one of
that
the.
was the guy. Yes,
You're one.
I mean, up the open. Yeah, I think I love that, and Christmas morning, I love Christmas. But anyway,
All right. So if you could produce any show with no limits, what would be your dream show to produce?
mm, okay, I would tell you that I'm still a filmmaker is what I've done most of my career.
Right.
And so my goal, I think, the dream, if there was no, it would be to make the next classic, Disney style ET or whatever, big blockbuster movie, and I hope to still do that before it's over,
Yeah.
or maybe create a theme park. On the side.
Probably a few $1,000,000.
You said you said it, now it's unlimited fun.
That's true.
There we go.
Steve, I have loved sitting down with you. In fact, it was really fun to research you and learn more about your amazing experience. And I think sometimes we see people every day and we don't realize the journey that they have gone through to get here. Even back at Elf Academy, I had no idea that you were a guy that had done work with Britney Spears and Kobe Bryant's and Nickelodeon and Disney, and yet you really just wanted to bring good classic entertainment here to our valley. And so I'm so grateful that you and Karen did decide to make a pit stop here and make it 10 years now
Yeah, this is home.
that you have
Yeah.
made it home. But what I've just been so impressed is the labor of love that you have thrown into the Ideal and the Avon Theaters to breathe new life into those. And I really hope that the community will gather around, like Mike Johnston said. We need this. We need to come together and be on Main Street and just we need each other. And it's those activities that are going to do that.
Well, thank you, and I will plug. We have some of the other theater groups that are coming to use our space, and we go to their spaces, and we love the concerts in the parks, and all the things that are going on, and we appreciate everybody just making this a great community, and beyond the arts. I mean, it's just a great place to live. I'm thankful every day when I drive around for how beautiful it is and how safe my kids feel, and so we're just happy to be here.
Yes, you have such a great energy value. But thank you for being a community builder. This podcast really is dedicated to the men and women that are doing just the everyday, but putting a lot of labor into it. So thank you.
Takes community. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
So Rachel Kahler, Executive Director of the Community Alliance for Main Street. It's been so fun to just feel Steve's energy, and I hope that you take time to go see a show at the Heber Valley Entertainment, both the Ideal and the Avon Theaters. And we'll see you next time.